Peace and blessings. What's up, you guys? Today I want to talk about turning pain into purpose. Because a lot of times we go through obstacles in life, and there's some days we feel like we could conquer the world. And then there's some days we feel like the whole world is on our shoulder. But I'm here to tell you that I'm a living testimony that I went through so much in life, and I'm still here. And what don't break us make us stronger. God is so magnificent that everything I've been through in life, it's funny I would say this, but everything that I went through in life, if I was to go back in time, I wouldn't even change it much. Yeah, a few adjustments here and there, but everything, all my moves, everything was meant for me to be at this point in life. So, just like it reminded me of the story of Joseph. I did a video on it too. Should check it out. But Joseph went through so much. It was meant for him to say what he was gonna say, because if he had kept his mouth shut, the story would have played out different. Maybe it still would have played out the same way, who knows? But I meant, like, whatever the enemy used negative, God turns it around and uses it for positive. So it's a big moral and lesson behind everything. Excuse me. Today is such a beautiful day. The wind is so chilled. This is how I like the weather though. It's like in the 70s. Really nice. I like it. But back to the story. Joseph went through certain things. He went through trials of life, being thrown in a pit, being betrayed by his own flesh and blood, his own brothers. All because they envy him, because his father favored him. And it's like, you could have a bunch of people, I realize it. Some people say, oh, it's not good to have favoritism and this and that, but guess what? They're lying to themselves, because they know deep down inside, they're like that too. Because you could have a bunch of kids or a bunch of friends. Yeah, you love them all of them is your friends, but there's always that one you have that special love for. And people are afraid to admit it, or maybe they're afraid to demonstrate or show the love that they have, but they'll try to deny it so many times. But deep down in their hearts, they know they do have a favorite. There's a difference between being favoritism and also just, what I was going to say, there's something between being favoritism, playing favoritism, and someone being your favorite. Just because someone being your favorite, it doesn't mean that you don't love all of them the same. Yes, you do, but you also have like a little extra special love for someone that reminds you of like you, or maybe they don't remind you of you. Maybe they just move different, but whatever it is, it's just a special, genuine love where you wouldn't even feel that way for your own flesh and blood. And it's deep for me to say this because it is true. Like, I've been amongst many families, and the privilege I had were their own kids, their own family felt a certain way, I guess intimidated because of the genuine love. And there was times when I was younger coming up, people used to treat me mean. They used to be mean to me. But I never used to care because I was young and wild. But then when they realized who I was, their whole attitude changed towards me. They started treating me kind. They started doing things for me. It was just, I'm blessed. And you are too. You just don't know it. But the meaning of me saying this is you always have a favorite, no matter what. You could be in the military or whatever. There's always somebody that does their task different, but they, as long as they get the job done, they might not know everything. They might not, but it's always that special feeling. It's like you know it. I made another video on that too. He who feels it knows it. But you always know, it's like a gut feeling. It's sort of like when you're seeking to be great or you're seeking to do something magnificent, but you don't know what it is, but you could feel it. And over time, you will be molded into this purpose. And sometimes you go through so many pain in life where it molds you into that magnificent person that you ought to be. And in order to be magnificent, we gotta we gotta have the scars. We gotta go through the warfare, to be stronger, to come out on top, to be able to show people that it is possible. And if I could do it, so can you. Back to the story. So Joseph was thrown in the pit, accused, and a whole bunch of shenanigans. Not really shenanigans, but a whole bunch of trials he went through, and he came out on top, because he was able, even he came from the pit to a palace, to the point where people knew him in prison. Like all the Pharaoh guys, all his officers and them, like they couldn't interpret the dream. And Joseph, he had a gift where he could interpret dreams. And that one thing led to another where he was able to meet the most powerful man in Egypt at that time. And that same man, by him being so close to God, God always made sure he was okay, even when he was away from his family, or away from, in a land of strange people with strange beliefs, or should I say strange belief systems. So it's not good to judge people, because God have a funny way of using people, certain people. Sometimes it could be the worst of the worst. Gotta turn around and use them. You know what I mean? So Joseph was able to stick to God's plan and became so magnificent that God exalted him to the second man in command, where the Pharaoh put a ring on his finger, blessed him with a beautiful wife, and gave him the authority to govern, to help him, Pharaoh, govern. And everything turned out magnificent, just as God planned and ordained. And it's a very symbolic symbol to it, where these stories are put here to guide us. Just because these guys came and they went through a task, it doesn't mean like it's just a story. These things happen on a daily basis, and it's very important for us to learn from these things and apply ourselves, align ourselves with God's plan, so that way we could bring forth purpose into our lives, instead of us going of our own free will and accord and doing our own thing and belittling ourselves we might as well just join God, because God is a big God, and He's a God of peace, a God of love, a God of war when necessary, a God of everything, and He lives. You know what I mean? Images doesn't really live unless you're physically operating it. You get what I'm saying? So we are a force to be reckoned with, especially when we have the Most High. So with that being said, hopefully this word was a blessing to you guys. Like, share, subscribe, reach out to me in comments. And I love you guys as usual. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.